The Civil War had the highest American death count of all the wars that we've been in, and that's because Americans were fighting Americans. I believe that there's one man that was a huge cause to the Civil War. The person I'm talking about is President James Buchanan, the 15th president. He was doomed from the start because problems in his presidency began 2 days after his inauguration, thanks to the infamous Dred Scott case. What happened was that a slave, whose master took him to a free state, went to the Supreme Court saying that he should be free, and Buchanan convinced the judges to say no. Presidents are not allowed to do that. In fact, no one's allowed to do that. This enraged Northern abolitionists. At this point, Northerners didn't really respect Buchanan. They elected him thinking that James would be against slavery, which he was. He even bought slaves to free them. But what he hated more than slavery was violence. He believed that the Northerners against slavery were the ones causing the violence. This was proven by his cabinet, which was all pro-slavery. Later in his presidency, Buchanan tried to force the people of Kansas to become a pro-slavery state before they even joined the Union. This argument later went to Congress, where there were full-on fistfights. Kansas then ended up as a free state, getting the Southerners mad. People in the South were worried that Buchanan's decisions would anger the slaves, causing them to start a slave rebellion against them. That's exactly what happened. A man named John Brown got together a group of abolitionists, including some runaway slaves, and then they attacked a place in Harpers Ferry, Virginia, where the government stored weapons. This made the pro-slavery South very worried about the anti-slavery Northerners. The South was fed up with all this slave controversy. Then South Carolina made a historic choice to secede from the Union. Then one after another, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Virginia, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Tennessee all seceded. President Buchanan believed that it was illegal for these states to secede, yet he also believed that it was illegal for the government to stop them. So he chose to do nothing about it and blame the Northerners. Had he taken action, we might have never been in the Civil War. Needless to say, he didn't even run for re-election. Do you know how much news that would make if that happened to a president today? At this time, the country was so divided that there were 4 candidates running for president. The winner of the election got less than 40% of the votes, and his name was Abraham Lincoln. It was ironic that the president that led us out of the Civil War came right after the president that led us into the Civil War.